وأوحينا إلى أم موسى أن أرضعيه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you to this series on the life of Nabi Musa alayhi salatu wassalam. And in this series, we find that after his incidences with the Bani Israel, with the Israelites, that Nabi Musa alayhi salatu wassalam then came across a person by the name of Khidr. And the initiation of this interaction was Allah asked him who was the most knowledgeable, and he indicated that it was himself because he was the prophet of the time and he was, receiving wahi from Allah. We of course then learned that Allah wanted to teach Nabi Musa والسلام, that it is very important that when you acquire knowledge that you also acquire humility. Not that Nabi Musa did not have humility, but it was just a lesson for us, all of those who will be reading this incident now. So Nabi Musa والسلام, set out looking for Khidr because he immediately wanted to become his student, to learn about this knowledge that he did not possess. So Allah Ta'ala gave them a sign. He told him, when you see this particular sign, take this fish with you in the basket, and when you see the sign to do with the fish, then you know you're going to find him there. And then, of course, we learned that they were sleepy, they missed the sign, then they moved on, and then they went back to go and see what exactly is happening there. So that's at the point where the two bodies of water met. So when they got there, they found Khidr, and he asked Khidr, alayhi may I follow you? I want to learn from you. Khidr alayhi said, no problem. Initially hesitant and reluctant to allow him, but he said, okay, fine, you can follow me, but don't ask me about anything until I tell you, and you're not going to be able to have patience with me. So now, what were these amazing and extraordinary things that he was going to do that Nabi Musa would not be able to have patience with? And obviously, it's not going to be in conformity with the laws and knowledge of Nabi Musa. So, what were these events? Now we learn from verse 71 in Surah Al-Kahf, where this incident is mentioned at length, that they proceeded with their journey. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فانطلقا. So the two of them proceeded, that's Musa and Khidr, حتى إذا ركب في السفينة. And then they were aboard a ship, well, more like a boat. خرقها. And Khidr, he took something and he caused a hole, he pierced a hole in the boat. Of course, this would damage the boat. قال, the Nabi Musa said, أخرقتها لتغرق أهلها? Are you causing a defect in the boat so that the people of the boat drown? لقد جئت شيئا إمرا. You have certainly done something grave. So this is obvious because this particular boat did not belong to the two of them. They belonged to a family of poor people. And why would you damage the goods of other people, let alone poor people, and cause a defect in their goods? But now, of course, Nabi Musa broke the law of Khidr, which is don't ask me about anything until I tell you about what the reality is. So Khidr says to him, قال ألم أقل إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا? Did I not say to you that indeed you will not be able to bear patience with me? So now Nabi Musa والسلام, he broke that pledge. So what's going to happen? قال لا تؤاخذني بما نسيت. So Nabi Musa says to him, please don't hold me accountable because I forgot. ولا ترهقني من أمري عسرا. And don't make my matter difficult for me. I'm really sorry, I was wrong. So he apologizes. فانطلقا. So the two of them move on. Khidr obviously forgives him and they move on. حتى إذا لقي غلاما فقتله. Wow, subhanallah. The two of them moved on until they met a young lad, a young boy. فقتله. And then Khidr killed this boy. Subhanallah, can you imagine murder? And then on top of that, the murder of an innocent child. When you use the word ghulam, it is understood to mean a child, a young boy who is not a baby but also not yet mukallaf. So why would he kill a young boy? This is exactly what Nabi Musa asked him. قال أقتلت نفسا زكية بغير نفس? He said, did you kill a soul, a pure soul? بغير نفس meaning who didn't kill anyone else. So it's not even retribution. لقد جئت شيئا نكرا. You have done something very strange, something very deplorable, something horrible. And of course, he's breaking the law again because he's asking Khidr about his mission before Khidr actually tells him. قال, he says, Khidr says, Alam aqul laka innaka lan tastati'a ma'iya sabra. Did I not tell you that you will not be able to be patient with me? Now Nabi Musa والسلام, remembers now again, and then he says, قال إن سألتك عن شيء بعدها فلا تصاحبني قد بلغت من لدني عذرا. He says, if I ask you about anything after this, then then divorce yourself from me. Don't be my companion anymore, or don't allow me to be your companion anymore. Indeed, you have reached from me an excuse, meaning you now have a pledge from me, and I'm telling you right one more time, and then I'm out. So they agree, Khidr forgives him, and they move on. فانطلقا, they proceed حتى إذا أتيا أهل قرية, until they reached a community of people within this particular town. استطعما أهلها, and the two of them, obviously being travelers, they were hungry, so they sought some hospitality from the people of this town. فأبوا أن يضيفوهما, but then the people of the town refused to be hospitable to them. They refused to host them as their guests. فوجد فيها جدارا يريد أن ينقض. So there, in that same town, they found a wall, and this wall was on the verge of collapse. فأقامه. So what did Khidr do? He rebuilt the wall. He didn't ask the people, he didn't charge the people, he just rebuilt the wall. And now Nabi Musa is perplexed, because these people were stingy, they were inhospitable, and yet you're doing them this favor. So he says, قال لو شئت لاتخذت عليه أجرا. If you wanted to, you could have charged them for this. You could have asked for recompense. And of course, then we could use the money to buy some food and the like. قال, now Khidr says, because he broke the rules again, هذا فراق بيني وبينك. He says, this is the departure point between you and between me. سأنبئك, I'm now soon after this, I'm going to soon tell you بتأويل, the interpretation ما لم تستطع عليه صبرا, of those things which you were unable to be patient with. So what exactly is the reason, or what are the reasons that he did these very, very strange things, and in some instances horrific things? He says, أما السفينة, as for the boat, فكانت لمساكين يعملون في البحر. That boat belonged to some poor people who worked on the river. فأردت أن أعيبها. So I wanted to cause a defect in the boat. وكان وراءهم ملك, because down river there was a king, يأخذ كل سفينة غصبا, who was usurping, he was claiming all the boats that would pass by. So the ship or the boat, whatever it was, he would just seize it and claim it for himself. But obviously, if there's a defect in the boat, and he sees that it's defectful, then he's going to just reject that particular boat. And in this way, Khidr actually saved these people their means of livelihood. Because obviously the defect can be repaired, but if the boat is taken from them, then they'll be left in dire straits. He says, وَأَمَّا الْغُلَامُ, and as for the boy, now what could possibly be the excuse for him killing a young boy? Now this is it's something that, subhanAllah, we'll never be able to fully grasp, because it has to do with the concept of qada and qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we only have a very limited understanding of. فَكَانَ أَبَوَاهُ مُؤْمِنَيْنِ, the parents of this young boy were two believers, both of them were believers. فَخَشِينَا أَن يُرْهِقَهُمَا طُغْيَانًا وَكُفْرًا, and we feared that this young boy would cause harm to them in terms of transgression and in terms of disbelief, that he would be a serious burden for them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intervened in the destiny of this young boy, which is of course not something that normally happens. فَأَرَدْنَا أَن يُبْدِلَهُمَا, so we wanted, or wanted رَبُّهُمَا, the Lord of the two parents wanted to exchange this boy خَيْرًا مِنْهُ, to another child that would be better than this child. In other words, that won't have a destiny of kufr, that won't have a destiny of sin and transgression. Zakat, and he would be pure. وَأَقْرَبَ رُحْمًا, and he would be closer in terms of mercy unto the two of them. Now at this point, of course, it's confusing, because but what if he did this, and what if he did that, and what if he changed? But the reality is, we don't know those things. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. And this is a confusing discussion for many, because if everything is put out, then there's a whole long discussion on qada and qadr, which is of course not something that we have the time for in this lesson, but perhaps in future lessons we can have that discussion. Uh, to make it as sweet and as short as possible, things are put out in the sense that Allah knows past, present, and future. But at the same time, we have free choice, and we only know the present and the past. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Every free choice that we make now, Allah Ta'ala already knew about, you know, time before time existed. And any choice that we will make in the future from our own free will, Allah Ta'ala already knows those choices. Usually, Allah Ta'ala does not intervene because we have this free choice. If Allah intervenes, then it's not free choice anymore. But here in this instance, it was a special intervention, and subhanallah, we learn a lesson because these parents were believing and fearful servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala wanted to protect them in a way that they wouldn't even be able to understand. Because Khidr is not going to tell them why this happened, like he's telling Nabi Musa now. So they wouldn't understand it in this world. And that's also a lesson because things happen to us in this world and it seems like the most terrible thing ever, but we don't know what Allah Ta'ala was actually saving us from that was even worse down the line. And I mean, if you think about it, what could feel worse than losing a child to murder? Subhanallah. And this is just part of that ilmul ladunni, knowledge that Allah Ta'ala has not made part of the everyday human existence. And the Mufassirun even explain that the way Khidr killed this boy was horrific. Allahu alam if it's true or not, but he took the boy's head off in a very one shot, so that there was no pain or anything like that. And on top of that, the boy didn't reach the age of being mukallaf, so whatever kufr and transgression he would commit, he's not going to reach that, and therefore he's actually saved himself and he's going to go to Jannah. And that's the bigger picture. If you're only thinking in terms of this world, then all you will see is that, yes, the laws of Islam and the Sharia deals with this world, but Allah also knows what's going to happen in the world hereafter. And Allah also knows that which we would never know in this world. So there's a lot of mystery around that story, a lot of confusion around that story. The Mufassirun even tell us that on the shoulder blade of this boy, on the bone, was written, like with Dajjal, it was written kafara, kafir. This boy was destined to be that. And we may have questions like, so does Allah Ta'ala destine people to be kafir? Does Allah destine people to be damned in this life? And the answer is no, Allah doesn't send people down any particular direction. He gives people free will, but at the same time, He's aware of the choices that people will make. And that is a mystery that the human mind can't really comprehend, because all we know is this temporal existence. And Allah knows best. So what about the wall? Because there it seemed like he's doing something good again, but why would he do something good for those people without charging them? Because they were actually very nasty towards Musa and Khidr. وَأَمَّا الْجِدَارِ, as for the wall, فَكَانَ لِغُلَامَيْنِ, the wall belonged to two boys, also two young boys, not mukallaf, yatimain, who were orphaned, fil Madina, in that city. وَكَانَ تَحْتَهُ كَنْزٌ لَهُمَا, and beneath the wall there was a treasure for the two of them. This was inheritance that the parents had left behind. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا, and their parents were righteous. فَأَرَادَ رَبُّكَ أَن يَبْلُغَا أَشُدَّهُمَا, so your Lord wanted to allow both of them to reach an age of maturity. وَيَسْتَخْرِجَا كَنْزَهُمَا, so that they themselves could extract the treasure from beneath this wall. رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ, and this was a mercy from your Lord. So of course, if the wall fell down, then the people who were already stingy and greedy in the town, they would have usurped that wealth from the two boys, and the boys would have then been deprived of the inheritance of their parents. So subhanallah, we learn that Khidr was actually saving the treasure for these two boys. Another thing that we can extract from this, as we did in the previous lesson, was look at what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did for the parents again. In this instance, the parents already left the dunya, but because they were righteous, they were salih, they were close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ta'ala still looked after their progeny after them. Ya salam. So many parents today give their children all the dunya that they possibly can, and are so worried about the dunya of their children. They say, what's going to happen to my kids after I die, right? And when they say that, they mean in terms of the dunya that I'm leaving behind for my children, the house and the car and the business and the bank account and my capital, etc., and my investments and my policies. But here we learn that because these parents were righteous, yes, they left behind a treasure beneath this wall, they left behind some money beneath this wall, but at the same time, because they were righteous, Allah Ta'ala looked after them. Allah looked after the kids, despite the fact that they've already left the dunya. So if we leave our kids with only the money, with only the dunya stuff can be taken away, it can be lost, it can be stolen, it can be fought over. But if we build our own relationship with Allah and their relationship with Allah, then Allah Ta'ala will see to their needs in this dunya as well as in the next world. And one way that we can reframe the question that people ask, what's going to happen to my kids after I die, is to ask, well, what is going to happen to my kids after they die? Have I given them enough to prepare them for the life after their death as opposed to their life after my death? And that is the way we can balance that particular equation out. Yes, we want to see to the welfare of our families in this life, but we should be more concerned with their welfare in the next life. So don't neglect this world, but don't forget the world you're after. That should actually be our highest importance, our highest priority, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. He says, وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِي. I did none of this out of my own accord. If any human did any of these things out of their own accord, besides the wall now, it may have been looked at, or not may have, it would have been looked at as breaking the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this was a special exception to Allah's law. ذَلِكَ تَأْوِيلُ مَا لَمْ تَسْطِعْ عَلَيْهِ صَبْرًا. And those are the interpretations for the things which you, O Moses, O Musa, you had no patience, you were unable to bear. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches Nabi Musa alayhi that he doesn't have all the knowledge, and we too certainly don't have knowledge. We don't have great knowledge. No matter how much you learn, there's so much more that you don't know. None of us are receiving wahi from Allah or a special mission from Allah. So whenever we receive knowledge, that knowledge should humble us. Knowledge is like the fruit that grows on a plant. It causes the branches to hang low because of its weight, and not high up in the sky because there's fruit on it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us that understanding. Until next time, when we learn the story of Musa and Qarun, another character introduced in the Quran, also very interesting because he was one of the wealthiest people, if not the wealthiest people to ever have existed. But until then, وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.